buddy.
Yeah, man. Let's roll.
Hey, what's up, BobMortgage Nation? Bob Johnson here, MLS 4084. I'm sitting here with Sandi Ehresman and Jamie Ehresman with JNS Real Estate Team. What's up, guys?
Hey, Bob, how are you?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful. I appreciate you guys so much for being on the show, BobMortgage Nation. We got a great show here. We're going to be talking to two amazing people, artists, as we'll kind of get into, a little musician speak and stuff like that. But we got some great peeps that I want to introduce you guys to in the Bastrop, Austin, Central Texas, South Texas market. So, or actually probably more Central Texas and South Texas, right? Yes. But we definitely want to chat with you guys and understand that market down there because it's going crazy with just everything that's happening with Tesla, with other things that are going on in that market. You guys are just seeing some amazing growth. So appreciate you so much for being on the show.
Good being here. Good being here.
Yeah, and you got a big announcement to make. I mean, I'm going to throw it out there right out of the gate because, you know, you had some life things, life changes going on with your business. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with the both of you.
You want me to do that?
Go ahead.
So yeah, we started our own team last month actually. And we've been doing real estate together on a different team, and decided we were going to start our own. We're still with All City Real Estate. Kevin Scanlon, love him, and we're basically trying to do things on our own. We were put together 12 years ago. 12 years. 12 years ago.
And you better get that one right. Come on.
I should have that one right. And we work great together. There's definitely, we both have our strengths, and the team has just kind of worked out to where, you know, she's doing what she does best and I do what I do best. And it's working out really well, really well.
Well, you know, my wife and I, obviously obviously people may not know, been married for 25 years and worked together for 25 years. And, you know, it is some of the best times ever, you know, working with your spouse, but it could also be some of the most challenging times. So we learned through all of those challenging opportunities that there is growth there and it can be present. So we really defined our lanes, and that's how we succeeded early on. You know, kind of going through everything was, all right, you know, you have your lane, I'm going to have my lane. And then we trust each other going down those lanes. And then we'll still obviously communicate very often as far as how things are going and what adjustments do we need. But I have to trust that those things are taking place as does she.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, she has, I mean, amazing strength in accounting, detail. Her degree's in accounting, so she's definitely great there. But just detail and making sure things get done. And I connect with people really well. So I get out there and do a lot of the showings, the one-on-ones, and those type of things. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's the best when both of you are going down the same path, but you have different things that you're going to focus on and work on. So there's really no crossover. You know, you're taking the people and you're taking the back office, and they're both so important to provide a great experience for your clients. But a lot of times too many individual or solo agents try to do everything themselves. And that's where there's some stumbles or some, just some things that doesn't make it a pleasant experience, not only for the client, but also, you know, you guys as the agent, as the team. So defining that's really good.
Yeah, we're still in the process of defining that too a bit. I mean,
I'm waiting for her to tell me what I'm going to do.
We definitely
have
determined like big picture, roles but all of the nitty gritty, like it's such a work in progress. You just sort of figure it out as you go along. Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely one of those, okay, so I don't think that really worked. Let's rethink how this is going to work, and it's really in the small details, communication and things like that.
I will tell you too,
go ahead.
Talking about the crazy market, the fact that we are both real estate agents. There are times to where, she may do a lot of the back office, but things are just so busy. You want to be able to service your clients all the time, whenever they're needed. And I'm tied up, she can go and cover for me and vice versa, out there,
nice.
which is a great thing. And individual agents don't have that. So we're able to really put more into people, when they need us.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to look at that. I didn't think of it that way. So while you have divided roles so that you can stay parallel and going forward, you still have, you guys have the ability to cross over
Sure.
and help if somebody is out, because, you are a licensed, you're a licensed agent.
We're still active producing agents, both of us. So there's no reason why we can't jump in to, help cover a gap.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So this happened, you said last about a month, right? Or no, week, or month or week?
It was the tail end of October, so it's been a couple of weeks.
Weeks, let's say just a couple of weeks. So obviously, veterans at the real estate game just now went out and launched J&S Real Estate, real estate team. So that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Big things happening. So tell me what's going on in that market, that Central Texas market down there. I know I was just down there for a quick trip. Obviously saw you guys and love the history of Bastrop, love everything about it. But there's so much growth in and around that community, and I'd love you guys to kind of speak to that a little bit.
For sure. Well, like you mentioned, Tesla actually, isn't in. I mean, it's on the outskirts of Austin.
Yeah.
And it's actually our direction to where we're at in Bastrop, which has been just made our area just go crazy, really. And it seems that, we are very similar to Austin as far as growth goes. There are definitely some differences between us and Austin.
Yeah.
We definitely have a more rural feel, but we are, we're 30 minutes to Austin, downtown Austin. And so many people love to live here and have that rural or smaller town feel, but be able to jump into Austin and utilize it for whatever it is. So, for that reason, our whole area is booming. There's just tons of new developments, new neighborhoods going in. The neighborhood we live in, there's lots that are being built on that we never thought would have been built on. It's just, it's really taking off all the way around. So
I know that's a positive. Do you see the community, the people within Bastrop that sit on the boards and things like that? Are there any challenges that you guys are looking at? How to keep, maybe that smaller town feel, right? While it continues to expand, because we've seen that happen quite a bit with the smaller towns in those expansion areas. They kind of get gobbled up, and I know that's not what Bastrop's intent is.
Yeah. Bastrop is trying really hard to not just become another bedroom community to the side of a big city. So the main goal for the city of Bastrop is to maintain its identity and to keep its character and personality alongside all of that, which we love too. We don't want to live in just a bedroom community. We chose Bastrop because of the personality and character that it holds. If you ever get to walk down the downtown area, it's gorgeous, and it's got such a sweet old time feel. It's very personable and
live music though. I mean, it's definitely, so it's coming to into its own, definitely downtown. Has that small town feel, but yet you can go down, enjoy some great food in the restaurants down there, listen to some live music. It's just not overwhelming. It's like you would have downtown Austin, for instance, like you said, I play music once in a while, and I used to play every once in a while downtown Austin. I don't go back there to play anymore. It's just not my desire. Love playing downtown Bastrop. It's just a whole different feel with the community, with the people that come down.
I mean, I tell you, we were down, obviously, like we were down there last month, right? And we all got to hang out, and I mean, it's a great feel. I mean, the restaurants. I mean, that restaurant we ate at, I mean, it was just fabulous. All of them have been great. Little Mexican
Yeah.
food dives. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
little things there that are just, they're over the top. So I mean, they're great. And then like you said, like the music and stuff. We're just walking right down. I don't know if it was that Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, just walking right down Main Street, and you got the music going on the side over there, some of those little bar restaurant areas and outside kind of venues, and it was really cool. It was a kind of a, I don't know, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was definitely something that left me wanting to have more of, which is always the best thing, right?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Most people that come down typically don't expect it, I guess. We worked
Right.
with clients. I was talking to a client last week, worked with a client who it's a younger couple in their 20s, moved out of Austin out here. And their friends, a year and a half ago or so when they moved out here, were just like, why did you move out there? And they told me that, or he told me that they've had friends out numerous times to, spend time at the house or do something downtown. And now he has couples that are considering moving out this direction once they really recognize what it is, because so many people don't, they just think, small town,
Well, hey, some people are looking at it from a second home perspective. Like, look, we got the house in Austin, or North Austin, it's like that. Now we can come out here and get like a barn dominium for a second home, and a little bit of acreage. And I mean, we've done those, and people love it, right? It's just kind of like their getaway, just to get out there and relax. And like you said, it's a 30-minute drive. Which is a nice thing to be able to get out of town in 30 minutes and decompress and have a completely different vibe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
One of our favorite things to do actually is when we know that people are relocating out here, is to just spend a day with them, driving them around to all the different areas, to all of our favorite stomping grounds, to the different neighborhoods. Really helps them get a feel of what it's like to live out of here, and then like where they might want to plant themselves once they move out here. So,
cool. Yeah. Is that why I was in your car the whole time when I was there? Y'all were driving me around.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to move.
Yeah.
Right. You never know. Hey, man. I'm a Central South Texas boy, so you never know what happens.
Okay. All right.
So what else is going on in that market? I mean, you obviously got, I mean, I know Tesla's not in the Bastrop area, but
but they're we have people moving here. We've already worked with a couple of people.
Yeah, it's connected. A lot of people don't want to go and live right in the middle of Austin in order to work there. So they like the idea of having a smaller town that they feel like it's going to be more affordable for them to do that, and certainly it would be. And when they realize that Bastrop is so dang cute, then that's even better, and it's closer. It's actually closer for them to live in Bastrop and commute into Tesla.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with all the downtown stuff that goes on. You don't have to deal with the traffic. I mean, it's just you can have your big corporate deal there, and then have the community that you have in Bastrop, and be like you said, 30 minutes from there. So.
Yeah. Now, we're not so small town that we don't have grocery stores or hardware stores. Sometimes, you give that perspective. I mean, we literally don't really need to go to Austin for anything.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife likes to go shop in Austin once in a while, but I mean.
Yeah. There's some shopping. There's some good shopping that you'll want to do.
We're
in a bigger city, and certainly, different restaurants and things like that you might want to go to. But honestly, we don't. We just it's hard.
There's no reason to go to Austin.
It's hardly worth fighting the traffic there to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, we're going into a live theater Saturday show we want to see. That's live theater in Austin. So we jump into Austin and use it for what we need, or what we want, I guess, not what we need.
Entertainment, yeah.
So
tell me about, speaking of entertainment, tell me a little bit about your entertainment aspects of your music and everything else, Jamie, that you do.
Well, I don't know that there's a ton to it. I play I play in a country band. I play in a couple country bands.
Yeah,
And
not every day.
we
It's not every day I have an artist on my show. So
Yeah, I mean, I get by. I get by. Luckily, the other guys in the band carry me, I think.
there you
I think
go.
I think they
Yeah.
let me play in the band to carry their equipment. Maybe
Honestly,
that's what it is.
Jamie is very humble when it comes to playing in a band. He's solid. He always knows his stuff. He's very well prepared, and really as a bass player, your support for the other um,
Musicians.
musicians, and he's solid, and so he's actually sought after a lot by other bands. He just doesn't really do that very much because there's only so much time in the day.
Right. Real estate's keeping you guys busy.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we actually have jobs.
Yeah.
well, maybe we can get a clip or something of you playing some bass, and
Oh,
we can
Okay.
share that.
Okay. All right. We'll find
That'd be kind
something.
of nice.
I'll send you a picture.
All right.
Yeah.
So I know we've been working for a while, and I know we've had a lot of different opportunities to help and service a lot of different types of clients, from first time home buyers to veterans, to individuals with credit challenges, things of that nature. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to kind of speak to anything like that may positively impact somebody else that's listening to this, to say, hey, there's an opportunity for me to be able to buy a home, or maybe just didn't know that they could, but they really can, based on our conversation today.
Sure. First of all, love helping veterans. I'm a vet, so I
Yep.
love working with vets. But we really got started, you and I, when I had a difficult or a client that was struggling or to overcome some credit issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I actually had looked other places trying to get someone to help them. And you kind of came in and laid out a plan for them on how you were going to get them to where they needed to be in order to qualify for a loan pretty quickly, which I hadn't been able to find out there with some other lenders. Which we really connected on that, and you did amazing things. I think there was a turnaround on his credit it was definitely less than 60 days, I believe, in order to get them into the house they wanted. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you could tell me maybe what were some of those steps and how you set up. I mean, you had a couple page layout of everything you needed to do in detail after you reviewed his situation.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, a lot of people have, and I always say this, hope is not a plan, right? So they hope to own a home, but they don't actually have the plan to actually go execute so that they can actually buy the house. And this particular individual honestly had hoped to have the house, but he didn't really know what needed to happen and what was the steps to take, and what should I do? Should I pay this off? Should I not pay this one off? I mean, there were several different things. There was probably, I don't know, I can't remember. There's probably 12 things that we had to knock out over a short period of time, because it was going under contract, and we just basically said, look, here's what we need to do. First, we need to do a what if analysis. So we got the credit report. We did a what if scenario, what if analysis that said, what if we did this versus this versus this? And I just kept running different scenarios to find which were the best things that he could do to accomplish the highest increase in score with the quickest turnaround and the least amount of money. Right. So there was a couple things, what were the 12 things that needed to happen with the least amount of money and with the quickest turnaround, because it couldn't take a year. We needed it done in 60 days. And so we just kind of continued to go back and forth on that what if scenario until it gave us the 12 steps. And then I detailed that out for him, and we had a conversation, and then I emailed it to him, and we went through everything, and he's like, all right, I can knock these out. So now he had the roadmap to go down, and he had motivation, he had drive, and he had the plan and the map to just follow. Right? Those are great clients to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I've had others that where you give them the plan, and they just
they fall off.
They don't have the drive. They fall off. They don't have the motivation, the drive. Their why isn't big enough to owning a home. So this individual's why was really big, and that why was driving and helping keeping him on that path so that ultimately we could get there. And every time he made an adjustment to one of the 12 things, then I would get the proof that it was done, and then we would get that up to the credit agency, and then we would get the updated score. So yeah, I think we went up. I mean, there was probably 100-point difference in score between where he started versus where he finished, and then ultimately that's where we closed that. So yeah, it's nice. I mean, and I appreciate the patience on y'all's end, because it was like, okay, hey, this guy's really motivated, wants to get in the house. We had to kind of push pause just for a bit so he could have time to execute. But at the same time, as soon as he did, man, I think we ended up probably closing that loan, less than 15, 20 days once we got all those things adjusted and that credit score heading in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that's such an amazing story, because a lot of people think, well, certainly I can't make that much impact on my credit score in 60 days. I mean, 100 points is huge.
Yeah.
So I think that right there is just a huge benefit for anybody listening who thinks like it's insurmountable when it's not. It's totally doable if you want it bad enough.
Yeah, and you don't have to, and this wasn't like this guy spent $100,000 to get it changed either. It was a strategy. So there was things that didn't make sense that he was wanting to pay off, but it didn't impact his score the way that we wanted it to in that short period of time. So yes, you may have gotten a longer term benefit by paying this particular collection off, but we can get these 3 done, and it's going to have a quicker short-term impact to the score. And that's the strategy we had to go with, because we're trying to get into a house, right? So, it's just really understanding that it's not, remove emotion. We do the what if analysis, and it'll tell us exactly what will benefit the score the highest, the most, with over the shortest period of time, with the amount of dollars that you have to spend. So some people, they may come and say, hey, Bob, I only have, $300, $400, $500, $600, and we got to figure out, okay, well, do we have an opportunity to impact it today in the period of time that we need to, or are we looking more at a 12-month plan? And that's fine too, if it's going to take 12 months. I just need to make sure your why is big enough so that you stay focused during that 12 months. So you'll accomplish and stay on the path that we need you to. So then when we're 6-7 months out, we know that you've done the things that we needed to do, and now you're ready to be able to start, looking at homes.
Yeah. And 100 points can make a pretty good difference in interest rate, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, at that time, I mean, we were doing that loan. I mean, he was probably looking at rates in the 5s or whatever, and we ended up probably getting him in the 3s.
I think he was on the edge of not even qualifying, and you got him into qualifying. Yeah.
Right. That was the thing. I mean, where he didn't qualify. And then we just, instead of using, and so what he was trying to do, and the bigger picture was, he was trying to use more of his money for the house. Yeah. And that was still not allowing him to qualify. So we said, don't use that much money for your house. So instead of putting 20% down on the house, because that's what you want to do, and that's what you emotionally feel like you need to do, let's pull out 10%, use 10% for the down payment, and we'll take this other 10% of the funds and we'll utilize it for credit, restoration. And that's what got him into a better type of loan and the approval and the lower interest rate. So it was a better use of funds as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So a couple things going on there.
Yeah. Well, and we appreciate your work and effort on it. I mean, that's what we're working as a team to try to put in the extra effort for each client. So, things like that, when we see it in people that we utilize on the outside, lenders and different things that we recommend, man, that's what we're looking for,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I just think it's just a philosophy and approach that we take. I get asked all the time, what's your niche, or, what's the most important client to you? And I always say the one in front of me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly the way we have to look at it. The one in front of us right then and there has to be our most important client, because that's the most important thing to them. And then we give them our time and the experience that we've developed over 25 years, and we'll show them, hey, this is what you need to do. Whether that's a perfect credit score buyer that's looking at how to minimize the total cost of ownership over the period of time that they've owned the home, we'll go through the entire analysis and show them this is what you need to do. Or it's the first time home buyer trying to figure out, how do we navigate this process? What's the first step and how do we do that? So we have a lot of conversations around those things. Or the credit person that, just needs that extra hand holding. And, I talk to them. Hope is not a plan, but, you got to put your big boy, big girl pants on and own up to some of the things that you've done in the past, and make sure that we can break a habit. And if it's something that's more long-term, and not like this individual that we're speaking with before, but it's not, if it's habit forming, we need to break that habit first, meaning slow pays, no pays, things of that nature. Because once that stops, then we know we could be 6 to 12 months out from the latest late payment or the latest no pay, and then we have opportunities to change. And once you identify their why and you really talk to them, then if they're going to have a chance at staying on that path for that long.
Sure. Okay. So I think you're working with someone. We talked the other day that I sent you a direction on a refi. And I think he's just completely looking, because the market has gone so crazy.
Yep.
And he's got so much equity now in his home versus 3 years ago, maybe when he purchased it. Are you seeing quite a bit of that happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it, and we've been seeing it now for the last, especially the last year. Once we started seeing rates go down almost a year and a half ago, right when rates started plummeting and getting into the 1% and 2% ranges, we had a pretty big rush to the market to get these refinances going. So individuals looking to lower their monthly payment. So they're going from a 30 to a 30, and they're just trying to lower and save as much money as they can. We have individuals that are saying, when we're talking to them about it, look, you can keep the same payment, but let's go from a 30 to a 15. In some cases, we've taken people from a 30 to a 10, right? Because of the interest rate they were at. They were at a pretty high interest rate. We're like, man, we get to actually take you to a 10-year and keep your payment the same. We've had people that will take the money out and then put it into their home for remodeling,
Kitchen renovation, right there.
Which is this obviously transitioning into a great Thanksgiving thing here in a second, because you did a big renovation in your house. But we have people that do their renovation. Others will put it in investments. They'll say, hey, you know what, I can get this money in the 2s or the 3s. Why don't I take the money and then I'll go and invest it into something that is making significantly more, and upside is 10, 12, 15 years down the road, you've significantly improved your net worth, and that's a lot of what we're seeing with strategies with refinances right now.
Sure.
You guys took advantage of that, so we have Thanksgiving up and coming. We're going to get to be around family and friends, and most of that stuff happens in a kitchen where we're cooking some good food, drinking some nice water or whatever else that you want to drink.
Nice water.
That's the wine rack over there.
The wine,
Right there.
yeah, nice wine, nice bottle of wine. But it happens in the kitchen, and you guys just did a renovation. So tell me a little bit about that, and why you feel like a renovation is great, even for people that are considering that with their home values and such.
Yeah, so we were kind of in this position where we got this house for a great price. And my wife told me we weren't going to, before we bought this, we weren't going to renovate another house. She didn't want to live in a construction zone again.
We'd already done that a couple times.
Yeah, we've done it a couple times. The flip thing, So, yeah, but this one we got for a great price. It's on an amazing street in a great neighborhood, and it just needed some work. And the kitchen was the major issue, definitely. Anyway, so it's been about a year ago we started it. It was done maybe 7-8 months ago.
Okay.
And this is going to be our first Thanksgiving using it, which is going to be exciting.
This year we've got the kids, their significant others, and Jamie's parents. So, we'll have 8 of us all here. And it's really nice to be able to do that, coming out of COVID year where nobody wanted to do anything together. And we get to use our new kitchen to do all this amazing cooking. So I'm the cook in the family.
You are, all right.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
What's on the agenda? What's on the menu?
Well, she says that I fry the bird.
He does.
Okay.
I really enjoy actually doing it the week before as well, because honestly, the fried turkey and her cooking, it can only go downhill for the kids, quite honestly, in my opinion, after that. So
we need to be the first.
Yeah, we have to be the first.
The first experience.
Yeah.
And but yeah, she does all the cooking, and I don't know what the sides are this year.
Oh, most of the usuals, probably sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes and green bean casserole and cranberries and stuffing, all of that. There's a really good loaded mock potato casserole that I really like to do. It's made with cauliflower instead of potato, but it's super good. And when I first started making that, my kids were like, I don't think we're gonna like that. But now they eat that. They eat all of that and don't eat the mashed potatoes. And I literally make it for me so I can have something a little healthier on the table.
I like that. Now, are y'all stuffing or dressing?
Stuffing.
Yeah. I eat it, whatever it is. I
Whatever
don't
it is.
care.
Well,
yeah.
We do fried potatoes, so we don't do dressings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, and the fried bird. So you're gonna fry it.
I'm frying 3 this year. Yeah.
Wow.
It's all about leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah, I have 3 in the freezer in the garage, and I'll start thawing them Tuesday, I think, the next week.
Yeah. What about dessert?
Usually pumpkin
pie for sure.
pie. So
probably an apple pie for our son.
Yeah, Christopher, he loves apple pie.
He prefers apple pie, but for me, it's the pumpkin. It's all pumpkin.
I'm a big coconut cream pie. So
ooh.
Yeah. So our deal is we'll definitely do obviously the turkey, all the traditional sides, your mashed potatoes, your green bean casserole. My brother makes some great sweet potatoes. Of course, that's like candy, right? The way he makes it. I mean, it's pure candy.
Uh-huh.
And then we do dressing. Jennifer makes that. It's phenomenal. It's a grandparents' recipe. And then we'll do my daughters make actually they're the ones that make it coconut cream pie.
So yeah, I think we talked about coconut cream pie last time you were down here. Did
Uh-huh.
you get down Main Street to that other restaurant to check out their coconut cream pie?
No,
That
I
looks
did, remember it said it's always leaving you want more, so that's
okay.
my
All
more,
right.
right?
It's
So
on the
I
list.
do have something to come back to
Yeah,
here.
there's a place on Main Street that
I
fantastic.
couldn't fit it. I couldn't do it because I mean, every morning is like breakfast tacos, then I had Mexican food, and then we had a
Yeah.
steak dinner. I was like, dang, I ate more
Yeah.
that weekend
Then you probably
than I
had to
have in
go
a
on a
while.
diet.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's when you went to the gym, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah,
The
yeah.
whole week
I
after.
go to the gym. I go to the gym 3 days a week for that, so it's all good.
Perfect. Perfect.
Now we're headed to Nashville for
Oh,
our
fun.
Thanksgiving this year. Yeah. So usually it's in our house and stuff like that, but this year we're gonna go see my brother, and
Nice.
we're all gonna load up on a plane. My mom, my dad, and we're headed to Nashville to see my brother. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're excited
Good.
about it.
Good.
Sounds great.
I'm
Awesome.
not going to be. You're not going to find me in a bar singing though. It's not no karaoke. That's the thing we didn't do. We're next time we're going to do some karaoke.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
we had a big
karaoke.
karaoke bar right there on Main Street.
There is.
There
There
is,
is. That
yes.
I think it opened maybe
Yeah.
last year, a year or so ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We could, Jamie, you and I could. We could go through. We get Brandon up there too. That'd be kind of fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. We could get Brandon for sure.
Yeah.
I'll
You know.
hold the camera and watch.
So if you're going to do karaoke, what's the song you go to?
See, I try to get away from like country stuff.
Yep.
I honestly I never sang karaoke prior to meeting Sandy. And I think the first time I did it
It's
was
our
on our
honeymoon.
honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Jamaica. She asked me to do it. So yeah, I think it was the first time. Yeah. But I would do I'd probably jump into something completely different, like an R&B song or something. I've done a couple of those just to be
R&B.
like an old school.
Yeah, like old.
Yeah.
Like you did Ain't Too Proud to
Ain't
Beg.
Too Proud to Beg or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Something completely outside of what you would expect from me.
Yeah, I would definitely not expect that. Now, I would
You
go.
know.
I would go. AC/DC, Shook Me All Night Long.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, I've jumped into like Enter the Sandman in like
Really?
doing a country show, and then we'll just rip into Enter the Sandman, and I've started singing that one before.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Well, I mean, your vocals are going to be much better than mine.
yeah, you know, we don't know. Maybe you should be in a band. We don't know. I guess
should
we'll
be
find out during karaoke.
I should be a rapper. That's what I should be.
You could work on it.
Could I?
Yeah.
start practicing.
You're
All
not
right.
too old to start.
Yeah, I'm not too old. I think I could pull that off. No, I'm not going to do that. I definitely would be.
I mean, your daughters would be
Definitely be either
mortified.
rock. I'd either be rock or country.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
Sounds
think
good.
that's what I would do. All right, enough of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what everybody's here for.
Right.
I don't think
Unless
so.
we're going to break out singing, that'd be a different thing. Then we could keep people entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're good. We're not going to do that. Yeah. So we had some other stuff. I mean, we've had. I mean, anything that you guys want to get into, first time home buyer wise, or anything like that.
Yeah, actually, I think it's really helpful for people to know what are the first steps when they want to buy a house. A lot of people tell us, well, you know, we want to buy something, so we're reaching out to you first.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually immediately refer them to a lender.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really the first step. So just in your mind, what are the steps that you think someone should take?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, naturally the first step is I'm going to contact you guys as my real estate agent, right? I mean, that's the first thing, because everybody goes to the home. It's the fun part. The reality is, you're right. I mean, they need to start with a lender. So the first conversation should be, hey, I'm really interested in buying a home. I'd like to learn what my financing options are and make sure that I'm pre-approved. So that way, when I fall in love with my house or the house that I want to buy, I actually know what my payments are going to be. I actually know how much money I'm going to need, and I know that I can pull the trigger. That's really how the conversation should go. But hey, I've done this for 25 years, and when I got in the when I bought my first house, even though I was in the industry for a period of, I don't know, 3 months, 2.5 months. I was in the industry for 2.5 months. What's the first thing I do? I put a contract on a house because I found a house that I loved. Jen and I did, and I realized, holy crap, I can't buy this house. I'm not qualified to buy it, right? So it was one of those. Is like, holy crap, I need to do something. And we obviously got a co-signer and all that kind of stuff to help us get in because brand new into the business.
Wow.
And somebody that's in it doesn't know, and I fully understand why most people will just start with the house and talking to an agent. So you guys are doing the right thing by, referring them over, and then what we do is we have a quick 15-minute conversation. It's just an initial conversation to help me understand what they're looking for, what are their goals, make sure I understand three things, the three big things, and I call them my 3 C's: credit, cash, and capacity. I go over what are the credits, what are credit scores, where do they come from, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and then which one do we use, right? Do we average them? Do we take the high or the low? And we actually throw out the high and the low, and we take the middle. But what happens if you're buying with your significant other or your spouse or something, and your spouse doesn't have a really good credit score and you have a great one? Well, those are things that we talk about during that conversation, because if we're both on the loan, then I have to take the lowest of the two mid scores. So if you have a 700 and your spouse has a 600, we have to use the 600. So now we're focused on either getting rid of the spouse's credit, not getting rid of the spouse, but getting rid of the spouse's
Glad you
credit if we
qualified
don't
that.
need them.
You're dragging me down.
Yeah. Or we're just reevaluating things or adjusting sales prices and things like that. So we talk about credit, we talk about cash. How much money do they have available, right? How much have they saved to use to go towards the purchase, and how much is really required with all the different types of loan programs and minimum down payments? And does it make sense to put all your money into a house, or would it make more sense to put less since the borrowing rate's so low and invest the other portion? We talk about those things, and literally these are 15-minute conversations. And then we talk about their job. Are they self-employed? Are they W-2? Are they hourly salary? Just so I have a really high level understanding. And then I get them to take the next step, which is completing an application, right? Because we need that data to be able to truly tell them whether or not they qualify. And then there's two parts, as you well know, guys. There's the pre-qualification and there's the pre-approval. And I tell everybody, it's just like a trust and verify approach. The pre-qualification is, I trust you, right? I've looked at credit, but I trust everything that you put in the system. The verify is the pre-approval approach, which is, I need to actually see your pay stubs, your bank statements, your W-2s, your tax returns, so I could validate what you put in the system was actually accurate. That's when you truly can, be are going to be approved to be able to buy, is when we've actually validated all those items. And it's not, it's not because we're trying to make it more complicated. It's just, this is the single largest financial transaction you're going to make in your lifetime, typically. And, I want to make sure that those items have been vetted and validated. And when you fall in love with something and you tell your kids or your parents or your grandparents that you're buying your house, or your neighbors that you're going to be moving, because that's what happens emotionally. You find something, you put a contract, everybody's so excited, they're going to tell everybody. I don't want you to have to ever tell somebody that you can't buy them, right? And so that's why that pre-approval is so important.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So I've had, the way the market is right now, moving so fast, agents you see constantly, over the last month or so, I was working with a client and I was seeing very consistently that, I get a call, someone would like a house on a Saturday, and the agent has something on the MLS that says taking all bids through noon on Sunday. Well, they call me on a Saturday afternoon, want to see the house, and they don't have their pre-qual even. Well, if they don't have that and they like the house, and you have very limited time in order to get an offer in, agents don't entertain offers.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll present it because they have to, but they're not going to recommend to their client that they take something that doesn't have a pre-qual with it. I mean, not in this market, especially when they're getting multiple offers.
Yep.
And they're setting this time limit. So, that's why for us to send them to you first, get that done,
Yeah, and we've even seen, I mean, you're 100% correct. And while we've done this in the past and, over the past years, we're seeing at least my percentages of how I'm doing this has actually increased because, we would always send in buyers that were on the marginal side. Like if there was a concern when we pre-underwrite a loan, a concern with income or assets or job history or anything like that, we'd say, okay, you know what, let's go ahead and get them into underwriting and do what's called a TBD, a to be determined property approval, just so that we get the things that we're most concerned about completely vetted and approved before they actually go under contract. So that was like pre-COVID, right? And then when all this started to happen and these the offers had to be, best and final within a couple of hours, and there's like 50, 60, 70 contracts on a house. I mean, we had to figure out, okay, what's some of the best strategies that we could deploy for our clients to help you guys win deals. And that's why we started talking to our agents, said, look, get these clients to us as quickly as you can, even if they're not thinking about buying, but you're talking to them, tell them how important it's going to be in this market. If they end up pulling the trigger, that we need to be fully approved now, so that we're not issuing a pre-qualification or a pre-approval letter. We're actually offering and issuing to the listing agent a conditional approval letter, right? It's pretty much as good as cash, as long as, the house appraises, or sometimes appraisal waivers are involved, but as long as, all that can come through. And it's just getting the money into the hands of the seller as quickly as possible. So that's one way that we've found that. And now it's the majority of our clients are going through that full underwrite, not a pre-underwrite, but a full underwrite in today's market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so smart. I love that you're doing that, and that is an option for clients that are, especially when they're competing with cash offers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's hard if they, still think that they have to wait, for a full underwriting process and all of that. So.
Yeah, we try to, we eliminate that as much as possible. So we have the conversational listing agent just tell them, look, this isn't a pre-qual, it's not a pre-approval. They've already been fully underwritten. It's right there in the conditional approval, and all we really need at this point would be appraisal, title work, survey, homeowners insurance. I mean, just basically property specific items. And we've started to see, obviously, with surveys, typically those get used by the seller's previous, so we don't really need that because it's going to be approved by title. Then it's just really up to the appraisal. Are we using an appraisal? Are we getting an appraisal waiver? I know y'all could probably speak to that because that's been happening quite a bit. And what y'all's feel is, is that slowing down any in your market, or are you still seeing that appraisal waivers are pretty important?
I would say in this season that we're literally in right now, it's probably a little bit slower, just because there's a little bit less movement due to coming up on the holidays and the school year. But appraisal waivers are definitely happening. On the buyer's side of it, it's hard to recommend that, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's difficult because you don't want to commit your buyer to pay for an outrageous amount for their house when it doesn't comp out.
Yeah.
But sometimes, really, you have to, when it comes down to it, you have to make sure that you're buyers is as educated as possible
Mm-hmm.
with, what we feel like the value of this thing is, how long they're going to be in the house, all of that sort of thing. And a lot of times it just comes down to like, how bad do they want it? I mean, how many offers have they, put out there and not had, taken? There's just so many factors. And I have worked with clients who said, I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need to buy a house and we'll do whatever it takes. And so, at the end of the day, we're there to serve our clients the best that we can, and help them.
Yeah, guys, just so you know, and some people watching this may not know what we're talking about as far as the appraisal waivers. So what we're basically saying is, let's say you found a house that you love at $300,000, but this with the market and the number of buyers that are trying to buy that $300,000 house, you're having to pay, let's just say $350 for that house, or let's say $375, right? So $375. Now, you have, I mean, we're going to do an appraisal on that property to ensure that it's worth $375. But based on what Jamie and Sandi are saying, they are looking at the comps of the property, the homes that have sold recently in the last, call it 30, 45, 60 days that are comparable to the home that you're wanting to buy. And they're saying, based on all that, the home may be worth $350 in their mind, maximum $350, right?
Sure.
Well, you're still saying you want to buy it at $375. So what we're seeing is we're seeing waivers offered to the seller saying, we're not really concerned about the appraisal. Okay, we're going to waive our right to the appraisal, meaning we're still, as a lender, going to do an appraisal, but if it doesn't appraise for $375, that you're still willing to buy it for $375. So if our appraisal comes in more in line with Jamie and Sandi's comps at $350, then you're going to be responsible for that $25,000. Okay, and so that's just helping you guys understand a little bit about it, what it is, because there's different levels of waivers. There's full waivers where you're giving rid of it completely. There's partial waivers where you can give up a certain percentage, but you still have some protection on other sides. But yeah, I think I was in a mastermind yesterday, and we were talking about this with some real estate agents about the legal challenges that are there and how they are protecting themselves about it, because they were concerned about the buyers coming back and saying, well, we didn't, we overpaid for a house, we didn't really know that it wasn't going to be worth that, and ultimately a year from now it hasn't caught up to that same value. And I kind of chimed in on the lending side. What we're doing when somebody wants to issue a appraisal waiver is we're having them sign a memorandum of understanding that they understand they're choosing not to do an appraisal, or they're looking to buy a house that is $25,000 less than what the appraised value says the home is worth. And so they're basically signing and understanding that they're willing to do it. So that's just part of coverage, and it's disclosures, it's transparency, but it's also part of coverage on our end. And then we heard real estate agents say that they're having the buyers sign the comps that they're providing to the buyers, their clients, saying, look, these are the comps that we're using. This is what we're saying the house is worth. Of course, if you want to pay $375 because you have, a reason to, a why that you need to, then by all means. But this is where we're at with what we feel the house is worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, we want to protect our clients, from not making a bad investment decision without the proper knowledge of what's going on. We want everybody to be fully aware of how it works, so that they're happy going forward with what they've done.
Yep, and just understanding, okay, if you're making that $25,000 excess spend, how long will it take in a normal appreciation type market? Not in the markets we're seeing in today, right? But in a normal market, how long would it take to make up that $25,000? And just so they're going into it eyes wide open, that's our job and our responsibility, and then they ultimately get to make their decision.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing as many appraisal waivers anymore on deals across, I lend in Texas, Florida, Tennessee, and California, and we're not seeing as many as we did, March, April, May, from March until about, I don't know, probably June, July, August of last year. And the reason why we're not seeing as much is comps have started to catch up, right?
Yeah.
When everybody was rushing to make these offers, and these offers on homes that they were paying 30, 40, 50, $100,000 over asking price.
Yeah,
The
amazing.
appraisers didn't have they didn't have any comps to go off of that said that house was really worth it, because comps are looked at over a 60-day, typically 30 to 60-day period. And now that we've had more and more of those sold properties come into the market, comps have caught up, and agents are accepting appraisals and not really needing the waivers as much as what they had.
Yeah, I think for the most part now it just matters if you're having a lot of multiple offers on a house or not. So it just sort of depends on the little pockets of areas that you're in.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. And y'all are seeing that. I mean, you have, or is it slowing a little bit as far as the number of offers that are being put on homes there, or is it still pretty?
Yeah, I think it's slowing a little bit. It still seems like, when I say slowing, I think it's gone from, there are 20 offers on this house down to maybe there's just 2 or 3, but it feels like there's very little that is not multiple offer. Now, we have seen price decreases lately on things, and I think some people on the seller side, I think some people are still thinking they can throw their house out there like it was May or June, the way it was in May or June, which was, 20, 30 offers on a house. And I think maybe some of the sellers are listing on the high side, or, a little over what the high side is even. And they're just having to come back to reality on their pricing.
They're adjusting back to normal real estate, or normal cycle then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's good to hear. It's good to hear we're kind of getting into that. I mean, you fully expect in that market you're going to have, multiple offers and things of that nature. But, it's hard when, you have 30, 40 offers on a house.
Yeah.
For a seller to really know who the right person is to pick. That's a hard thing for those sellers and those listing agents to do with, but those buyers, having to go through that and probably going through it multiple times. So what are you talking to your buyers about as far as how many offers or how long they should plan in this market before they actually get an executed contract?
Gosh, before, I would say we could go through this 10 times, honestly. Like, this is they need to make sure that they're just maintaining their hope throughout it, but not getting too excited about any one property, because unfortunately the statistics just show that, unless you have the absolute most perfect offer, that you're probably not going to win it first off. So it takes quite a few also for buyers to realize what kind of market we're in, and start really pulling the trigger to make decisions on the terms of a contract that will kind of put them over the edge. It takes a little while to get a buyer to fully understand what's going on. So, before I could say we could go through 10 or 20 of these. I mean, like, are you really ready for this? Let's really prepare ourselves for this, because it can start feeling so devastating for a family that needs this, needs it in a bad way and just can't seem to make it work. Jamie's been working with somebody, finally got them under contract, but how many did it take?
We probably put in just under 10, I think, offers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And what made it more difficult is that they're VA.
Yeah.
So they were utilizing a VA loan, and that's just when it's up against other types of loan vehicles or cash offers, it just almost never works.
Yeah, I saw something pretty frustrating. Yesterday obviously being Veterans Day, and Jamie, thank you for everything that you've done and for your service. But I saw this meme that says, all these people wishing all these veterans happy Veterans Day are the same ones that aren't accepting VA contracts.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, that's frustrating.
When sellers are looking at it, it becomes purely business, right? You're at the end of the day, as an agent, you're preparing an Excel spreadsheet of every offer that's come in and all the terms, and you're just comparing them, and the sellers that look at that and they see what they feel is the best offer for them, and that's the one they choose. It becomes a very non-emotional thing for them, but then on the buyer side it becomes very emotional, right? So it's a difficult place to be in.
I tell my buyers agents that are dealing with VA buyers to first start searching for listings that where the individual that owns the home is a veteran, because we know that there's going to be some emotion that can go into that conversation and that offer that's being presented. So they may be more apt to take that VA contract over a non-veteran.
Yeah, if you're able to find that information. That's the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can find it on I go to tax rolls or whatever and see if you can find any
Stalk somebody's Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. I mean, hey, it's all business. We're trying to get the buyer's offer accepted.
For sure.
So tell people how to reach you. Obviously same phone numbers. You got all that stuff. Nothing's changed, but you did did y'all change websites? You got a new website? What's up?
We did. We got a new website, and it is at www.jndsrealtors.com.
jnsrealtors.com. Oh, look at that. That's a good looking website. Woo.
There's the dogs right there. Yeah,
man. That's a good website. I like that.
We had fun putting it together.
Yeah, I love taking pictures.
He's very photogenic.
Not really.
Oh, I love it. Oh, this is great. Has a good feel. Good job, guys. Okay, and you got your email up there. Perfect. Okay.
Facebook and
we've got a Facebook business page. We've got Instagram as well, and we're trying to throw really great content out there for people to utilize. And we absolutely welcome any phone calls, direct messages, anything like that. We love helping people figure out their real estate dreams. So we really hope that people will take everything that we're throwing out there and utilize it, and then ask tons of questions.
Yep. No, I love that. I mean, we're always about the education. So, I mean, the more you give to people to help them understand how easy it is to buy a house, what are the advantages of owning a home versus renting? I mean, common stats show you that your net worth is going to be, basically 41% greater as a homeowner than that of a renter. So, I mean, there's a lot of stats out there, but it just really gets to helping people understand what it all means, and lowering the wall, basically the barrier, so that they feel comfortable having conversations with you. And I think that's the beautiful part of what social media does. It just allows us to get this type of stuff out there, and let people, if they decide that they like us and they'll get comfortable with us, they'll make a phone call, and hopefully you guys will reach out to Jamie and Sandi and just chat with them for 10, 15, 20 minutes, do a quick buyer consultation, figure out what you guys are looking to do. And then, I'm sure they'll point you in the right direction as to the next steps. And then, you got to go from there, but it's not that difficult, guys. You should definitely take the step to have a phone call with them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Bob.
Yeah, guys, it was great to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful, blessed, happy, full Thanksgiving. Enjoy the hell out of that kitchen, man, and just cook as much as you can. The fried birds. I'm be down. I may have to come back. Shortly after Thanksgiving, so I could try some of that stuff.
Yeah,
do it.
Come on down.
But yeah, you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you. We wish you the same as well.
All right. Cheers, guys. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.